Welcome to a special podcast collaboration of History EPR podcast and the Harness of the Talk podcast. I have three guests today. I'm going to bring in Scott Waddell. He is the administrator of the Harness of the Talk Facebook page. And here he comes there. Hey, Scott, how you making it tonight?
Not too bad, Scott. Thanks for doing this. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it, buddy.
no problem at all. And we're going to bring in Robbie Tait. There he is. Hey, Rob, how you doing?
Hey guys,
Hey, Rob. How are you?
good.
Good.
And we have Trevor Frizzell. Did I say your last name
Frizzell.
right? Frizzell. Sorry, I got close. I was close.
Yeah.
Depends which side of the bridge you're on.
There we go. Right on.
Yeah.
So we got everybody in there. I'll kind of jump into it. Basically, what we're going to be talking about today is fractional ownership of horses, which is something I'm familiar with a little bit, but not too much. So it is an interesting topic that we're going to go into, and especially with the new seasons coming up in Charlottetown and Summerside and Truro. For people who don't own horses, that say, hey, it is expensive. Trust me, if you own it by yourself, it's not a cheap deal. But that's basically what we're going to go with today. That's the conversation we're going to have today with the guys. And I guess Scott, if you want to start off, and whatever you guys want to do. Again, I'm a complete novice to fractional ownership. I am interested in it, and we do definitely have pictures of some of Rob's horse and some of Trevor's horses. And we have a video of the Gold Cup. So go ahead, Scott, take it away, and let's kind of go from there.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for joining, guys. This is kind of like our first podcast, kind of breaking out into our own thing here, and hopefully things are going to go well. So we'd like to do some more of these. And I thought one of the great subjects that I've always admired, especially, I guess, down at Truro Raceway, where it really came to light, was fractional ownership. And I know yourself, Rob, and Trevor, you've both been involved in fractional ownership groups. And Rob, you've had the fortune to, get in on some great horses, meet some great people. And so we just want to find out a little bit about both of your experiences. And I guess we'll start with you, Rob, first. I know if those of you who follow the maritime racing scene, Rob's one of his horses, American Risk, won the final race at Exhibition Park Raceway, which was certainly a big thrill. And I know I seen you there that day, Rob, and you were pretty excited. And so just wanted to kind of get your take on how you got into fractional ownership and kind of your experience in meeting new people and some of the benefits of fractional ownership in your mind.
Oh, I was always involved with racehorses, right from like '83 around EPR and Mike Doyle and Brian Foster. And last horse I owned was in 2011. That was Dusty Lane Oscar, and I kind of stepped away for a few years. And I was kind of looking. I thought about the stable.com or CA, and Andrea Remsen put a thing up there selling shares in this horse, American Risk.
Yeah.
So I messaged her. I got the facts of how much it was going to cost. Very, very reasonable. He was a good buy at the time. And I can't say enough about Andrea and George down there. They run a top class show. They always have time to answer whatever questions you have. With American Risk, there's 9 separate families and met some really great people involved with this. 2021 was our first year with them. We won 10 races, just had a blast doing it.
Oh, wow.
2022, he stepped up to the plate a little bit more, traveled with the invitational horses, always second, third in there. 11 wins to cap the season off, and just a thrill. Just a thrill to be involved in that.
Yeah. So you're, I know each and every, I know you live in Moncton, I believe still, and you go down to, you make the trek down to Truro, and I know you do some jogging during the off season, trying to get the horses ready to go. And
put as much as I can.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your experience in going down and some of the people that you've met along the way, and not just American Risk, but just being around the barn with the Renaissance and kind of getting, because I know you were in on Oscar and you had some great times with that old fella, and
I had a blast with Oscar.
Yeah, he was Claimer of the Year one year, and he was.
That was before I owned him before he won Claimer of the Year.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, in 2010, 2011 is when I owned him.
Oh, okay.
I kind of sold him to Chris after that there.
Yeah.
But with every barn, there's characters. And that's the thing about being involved in a large stable like that, is there's all kinds of characters. Yeah. And it's just incredible. We have people from all over the Maritimes. We got another horse, Privilege, I'm in on. Owner in Fredericton. We have owners in Summerside, Truro, Halifax area. They are all just wonderful, great people to be involved with.
And I know this year, and I know this year too, Rob, that Andrea and George got into a lot more yearlings. I noticed this year, and I believe they're part of the fractional ownership as well, are they not?
They are. They've got I think total 9 or 10 yearlings that they're going through this year, and a couple of them were offered up as fractional ownerships. And I was talking with another fellow today who is involved with it, and the monthly bills that he's paying right now, anybody can afford it. Okay. And they're $12 a month.
Oh, nice.
So whatever you kind of spend, your initial purchase is what it is, but I always look at it as if you don't lose much throughout the course of the season, hey, it's a win. So
imagine that, Scott. You can get in on a horse for $12 a month.
Sounds like the amount of money I win when I'm betting. Like that time in Summerside, I won $6, and I had to give Russell 4 of it because Russell split tickets. So, but yeah, I was actually going to ask that question. I'll bring Trevor in here too.
Yeah,
in a second. Yeah. Like the idea, like I love harness racing all my life, and my thought was I'll never buy a horse because I don't have the kind of money to be spending on. My grandfather spent a ton of money on horses back in the 70s. And the idea for people who are just getting into harness racing or that like to watch it, like you said, $12 a month. Obviously, I think the more you pay, the more you get out of it if you wins big purses. But if you just want to say that I own a horse, and when we get to Trevor's horse here in a few minutes, it's a really cool situation if you're just a small owner, but the horse wins a pretty big race. So it's definitely something that, if you want to throw $12 down or $20 down a month, you can say you own part of that horse. So it's a really cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole thing is, people can get into ownership cheap, and that's what I like about fractional ownership. And maybe we'll bring Trevor in here. I know Trevor's been involved with what's called the stable, and I know Rob kind of looked at that before he got in down at Truro. But tell us, Trevor, I know that you had a big thrill this past summer, to say the least, with Sintra, one of the horses that you were invested in, won the Gold Cup and Saucer, of course, this year. But I know that you're also in on a few other horses as well. So maybe just kind of take us through how you got involved with the stable, and Anthony McDonald and what he's doing there, and what your experience has been like.
Yeah, so obviously for anybody that follows harness racing, the stable markets aggressively. If you're looking at fractional ownership, it's the first name you're going to see anywhere you look.
Yeah.
So summer 2020, we're in lockdown. You're kind of looking for something to keep yourself busy. You can't go anywhere, do anything. So I started looking at what do they have to offer? What do they have available? I ended up starting out with a 1% share in a 2-year-old pacing colt named Brilliant Corners.
Okay.
He didn't really do a whole lot, but it was kind of that dipping the toe in the water. Really gets your interest that way. You get to see how the whole thing works, and especially the way Anthony runs the stable. It's just phenomenal. You get your he says weekly updates, but there's videos every day.
Yeah, I noticed that. I follow the stable actually, and he's done a fantastic job. I mean, he's certainly to be commended for kind of bringing fractional ownership to a new level, especially here in Canada.
Yeah, and I've got a couple of friends that have decided to try it out in the past 6 months or so, and now it's kind of funny when we go a day without a video from Anthony on YouTube. We're kind of joking, is he okay? Did something happen?
Yeah.
But from there, it just kind of took off. I bought into a group of horses, so it was smaller shares, smaller than 1% shares, but there were, I think, 8 of them involved in that group.
Okay.
Had some luck out of that. We actually, I had a small share of 3 Point Blue Chip when he won the matron at Dover Downs.
Oh wow! Okay.
Which that was the second big thrill. The first big thrill.
Yeah.
Yes, the first one was actually out of that same group, 2-year-old trotting filly named Jazzy Judy.
Okay.
Who gave me my first win as an owner.
Yeah.
It was in a $100,000 Delaware Breeders Final on my 35th birthday. It's something I'll never be able to forget.
Oh, that's awesome. So what? And you certainly don't have to reveal any financial information or anything like that. But if somebody was, somebody's watching this tonight or whenever they're viewing it and saying to themselves, I've always wanted to get on a horse, and I've been involved in a couple of horses, myself in the past, and had a great time. But right now, fractional ownership might be something that I might be interested in down the road. So, you're in on how many now? Are you in on now?
I've got shares in 8 right now.
Holy mackerel! Okay.
Yeah, they're all 1% shares.
Okay.
Had a pretty good year last year, so I was able to buy shares in 2 yearlings last fall that didn't cost me anything out of pocket.
Okay.
And covered bills most of the years too, so that was a nice bonus.
Right on. And I think the horse Sintra, of course, that everybody knows, won the Gold Cup and Saucer last year. Kind of tell us how that became to fruition, because I know that he was under, I believe, a different ownership group not long before the Gold Cup and Saucer, and I think Anthony had his sights on the Gold Cup and decided to invest with the stable on that guy.
Yeah, so actually, Sintra was never intended to be a Gold Cup and Saucer horse. They bought him. He wasn't racing real well for the Mineri stable starting out last year. He's getting older. It takes a little while to start up. And to be completely honest, I was skeptical of the purchase at first. But the stable bought him. They moved him into Harry Polton's barn, and he just seemed to get better and better. And then I believe it was Sylvain Filion and Harry had said, this would be a good horse to take to the Gold Cup and Saucer.
Yeah.
So they went down that road, and actually, I was fortunate enough. I was able to get a share of him between the trial and the final. I didn't own any of them up till that point. I was over there on the Saturday night for the trial.
Yeah.
Said, man, that horse has a real shot to win the Gold Cup and Saucer. He's a nice, classy horse. If I can find a share at a decent price, I have to buy it.
Yeah.
And just a couple hours before the shares locked for the week. So the way their client portal works is when the horse is entered into race, they'll lock the shares so there can't be any changes of ownership until after they've raced.
Okay.
That way they eliminate any issues with licensing or ownership papers, anything like that. So it was just shortly before they locked the shares for the week, I was able to get my share of them, and just being over there and watching him race, coming down the stretch with that open length lead, and the emotion kicks in, and I couldn't tell you anything that happened in about the 3 hours following it because it was just a whirlwind.
Wow.
It's
an exuberation for sure.
Yeah. It's funny. It's kind of go way back because I do the history part. My grandfather owned a big horse, Scotch Gauman, actually won the Gold Cup in 1974. The trophy, you might be able to see it. It's in the background. But there was a story. You're talking about being nervous, Trevor. My grandfather, when his horse raced in the Alexander Memorial, which was a really big race in St. John back in the 70s, when the race went to the gate, they couldn't find him. They're like, where's he at? No one could find him anywhere. And he was up in the grandstand in the corner by himself because he was so nervous. He couldn't be around anybody. So it's a very common thing, I guess, when you're in that situation.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it nervous. Probably a mix of nerves and excitement. But I was right there on the fence at the finish line,
Yeah.
and I felt completely fine until the lights went out and the
Mm.
spotlight went on,
Yeah.
and then it kind of sets in what's going down, and uh, it feels so much longer than that 55-minute lead up to the race, and also
Yeah.
feels like it went by in just the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
I want to show the race here in a little bit. Now, the question for you, Trevor:
Yeah.
How many times have you watched it on YouTube? I'm assuming more than once.
Yeah, probably 15 or 20.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And feel the emotion every time.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
You've been. No, I was just going to say, Trevor has been to Toronto a couple times too to see his horses race, I believe, too, eh, Trev?
Yeah, just the one trip to Toronto so far.
Okay.
I was up last fall. So actually, I went to Saratoga, New York, early last summer, and I get to see two of my horses race there.
Okay.
And ended up being a fantastic day. Mark McDonald was actually at Saratoga for some stake races, and he drove both of them. We got a first and a second, which that was as good as we could have asked for. So the drive back from Saratoga was a little bit shorter than typical.
Yeah.
And then in the fall, the trip up to Toronto was fantastic. Getting to meet some of the staff and see they were still split. They had started to move from Tomiko Training Center to Joe Stutzman's First Line Training Center, so they were still split. Harry Polton's barn, where most of mine was still at Tomiko, so we were there and we met him and his staff and saw all the horses and
Okay.
went up to First Line Training Center and we met a bunch of the staff there, the different trainers. Uh, of course, brought some treats. You can't
Yeah.
the job
Can't
they
be
do with
worse.
the horses, right? They deserve donuts and coffee and pizza every day, really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was just a first rate experience. They they don't make you feel like you're imposing at all. They're so welcoming, and
Yeah.
they'll stand there and they'll chat with you and give you their thoughts on the horses and how we found out while we were up there that Cintra's favorite treats are bananas and black licorice.
Oh, there
Who
you
would have
go.
thought, right? So just getting the opportunity to see that environment and to be able to learn more about your horses that way, and the little quirks of the personalities, and
Yeah.
it was just I can't wait to go back up.
Oh, that's awesome. And
It is.
yourself, Rob, I know you got started quite a bit. We'll go through a little bit of history here, where Scotty's with us too, and I know that Rob, you used to be around the John Davies barn quite a bit. You kind of got I believe you got your start there, warming up and working with those guys, and just kind of tell us your experience. From a young age, being around the horses, and then kind of developing and getting into the ownership today.
Well, what I started with Mike Doyle and Brian Foster, and they were in one end of Big John's barn.
Yeah.
So I didn't really help work for Big John until I started driving for him. But
Oh, okay.
Oh, my lost sound. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Hold on. I muted you. I apologize there, Rob. I muted by mistake, buddy. I was trying to bring up full screen. Keep going. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so I grew up like the other end of Big John's barn. I didn't really start working for him until I started driving for him, like in the early '90s.
Yeah.
But always down there. Wayne Hubbard was there. Andrew Morrison. Eventually, I came up here to Moncton and started working for Danny O'Brien. Kind of really got my feet into it with the training aspect of it there.
Yeah.
Danny helped me get my license. Rosaire Barrio, he helped me get my license. Both those guys were very instrumental in my early driving.
Yeah.
Once Moncton shut down here in '91, then I started going down to St. John, driving for Big John. He always gave me drives.
Yeah.
And Rosaire gave me drives in Truro.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I kind of, with my whole driving career and everything, took some time away to be with my family. My kids were just little at the time. And then I got back in 2010 with Oscar, bought him from a nice lady and everything, and just had a blast. I kind of get in and I get out for a little while. And so that was my background there.
So was it the fractional ownership that mostly got you back into the
It
sport,
was
Rob?
because I'm just, like the regular blue collar person. I don't have a lot of
Yeah,
money to spend.
yeah,
So it was a very reasonable amount.
yeah,
And, knock on wood, risk has not cost me anything of the initial payment.
yeah,
He paid his way both seasons.
yeah,
And what they do is the purse money stays right into a pot. So
yeah,
there's the American Risk Bank Fund, and
yeah.
they need money out of that, like for the winter care and everything. It just comes right out of that there. So it hasn't, like I say, it hasn't cost me a dime for American Risk in the 2 years I've owned them.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I got a couple
And,
pictures of American Risk, actually. Not to cut you off, Scott, but
oh no, go ahead.
I
Love
thought
to
I'd
see.
just bring them up here real quick. This is the ones from that you sent me, Rob, from Exhibition Park, the last race ever at Exhibition Park. Let's see where we're going to start here. Let's go this way.
That was
So
the end of the race,
mhm.
walking back from the winner's circle, myself and Todd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have
Todd was
here's
stoked for that race. He was there's
Oh
the
yeah.
emotion right there in Todd.
Oh yeah. I
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
He
was
said he really wanted that win bad.
yeah, the Inga Palmer pace, which was really awesome too, on top of high the grandstand. I hear it all the time because I'm always recording all this stuff. Heard it this afternoon when I was putting stuff up. So there he is winning, and there he is coming back from the win.
On
Yeah.
the Hervé Filion.
He's doing I don't know if you know that or not, Scott, but there was a driver in Montreal who kind of made that famous, Hervé Filion. And
I know the name. Yeah, yep.
yeah, I believe he won. I think it was a Prix d'Été or one of the big races up in.
Little Brown Jug, wasn't it?
Oh, was it the Jug? Oh, maybe it
I think
was.
it was the Jug, yeah.
Okay.
I think, anyway, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and he came back to the bike like that, and there's been some people do it over the years. So, but yeah, that was a heck of a race, and it was so nice to not that it it was certainly a sad day at Exhibition Park, but there you see the winner circle, and everybody was just so happy, and I know I was thrilled myself just having the race named after Ingham, who was
Yeah,
such a
that was
big.
awesome.
Yeah, he was just such a legend at Exhibition Park and in sports in general and in St. John. So it was nice to see. So where would that rank, Rob, on American Risks wins?
Oh, that's right up there at the very top.
Is it?
I say just growing up in St. John, being involved around that track at the young age, and it was in the 80s. It was the best time as far as I'm concerned. And to win the final race meant a whole lot. We took risks down there 3 times, and he won twice. The one time he didn't win, he was second in the Alexander, or in the,
McIsaac, Barrel
Walter
McIsaac,
Dale.
I'm thinking.
Walter Dale.
Okay.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Walter Dale.
He finished second in the Walter Dale this year.
Yeah.
And had 2 wins. And just to go down there and to cap off that racetrack with that win it was big for me. It was big for Todd. And we really appreciated George taking them all the way down there.
Yeah, no, they were, the Renaissance were outstanding supporters of Exhibition Park, especially the last couple of years. And, there were some days we probably wouldn't have even raced in St. John if it wasn't for, you guys coming up and bringing horses. And I know you came down and warmed up and things like
much
that.
As I could. I get behind that card as much as I can. Just, I'm lucky that George lets me do that. He's got a great stable of horses, and on race day, I'm behind all of them. So warm them all up and everything. Yeah.
No, that's
so we're we're gonna go from here. I'm kind of just winging it. I had a format written, but I'm not looking at it. So I'm just kind of winging it. That sounds basic, but so we're gonna get in because I think the way we'll end the podcast eventually is I'm gonna show the Gold Cup and Saucer. That's Central one. That's kind of a cool way. We have some more pictures too. But so basically, and I'll start with you, Rob, and Trevor, and then I'll bring you up, and we'll same question to both of you guys. If somebody is interested in getting involved, how do you, for Rob, for your guys, how would they go about doing that? How would that happen?
What I would say is, if you're interested in it, contact. It doesn't matter who your trainer is. I'm with the Renaissance. I think right now they're all kind of full. But whoever your trainer is that you like, go and see that person and say, hey, listen, I got some money. I'd like to maybe buy into a horse. I think Mark McDonald was doing that. Mark Campbell was doing that on the island also. He's got a fractional ownership over there. Paul Angel in Truro, he has one going. And from what I understand, Truro Raceway is going to have a couple of horses also. Get a hold of the general manager down there, Steve Fitzsimmons, and just say, hey, listen, I'd like to get in. Where can I go? Which trainers are taking horses right now? And just go from there. Just reach out to these trainers. This is what they're kind of getting used to now. So I just go and talk to them. They're great people. All these guys are great. Just go and have a talk to them.
So and if you guys go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, how does the Truro Horseman Club there work? Where I believe that they go out and purchase a horse, and then they look for some people to get in on them and follow them all season. And maybe you can just kind of tell us how that works.
I'm not 100% sure on what they're doing with that. I heard through the grapevine that they have claimed 2 horses from Ontario, and I think that the trainers down there maybe are putting their name out to be the trainer of those horses.
Okay.
I'm not 100% not in on that part of it.
Yeah. No. Well, I know we're hoping to have General Manager Steve Fitzsimmons on in a future episode, so we'll certainly ask him about that, and if there's an opportunity for maybe someone who's watching who wants to get involved for, like you say, where most of us are brown collar workers, and we don't have a lot of money, and it's a cheap way to get in, and even if you can't be at the track, like technology nowadays, you can
watch online.
Watch it right there.
Online. Yeah. But you can't be being at the track. There's something about that. Like I was telling someone, like I watch Charlottetown all the time, but going to the track, being there, it's the people, the camaraderie of the people. For me, it's the sound, like the sound of the horses. That's what gets me. That's what I love about it. But so Trevor, for your guys, like do you guys have one specific group that you use, or how does that work on your guys' end where you're at?
So all of mine right now are with the stable.ca. They're a little more refined. They've been around a bit longer. They're a very big operation. So if there's anybody out there that kind of wants to look at that avenue, they're going to be a little bit pricier. They're racing out of Ontario and out of the U.S. and they're buying, they're buying $100,000 yearlings at times. But you go to the stable.ca and you can take a look at what they have for horses available. They're all listed on there.
I'll put the link. I'll put the link in the description there for you too, just so everyone can see it. Yeah,
and just click around. They give a really good explanation of the base costs and how everything works for their operation itself. So awesome. It's a really cool way to run it.
I'm going to show some of your pictures there, Trevor, and then I'm going to bring up the Gold Cup and Sauce that you guys won. And I think these are I'm pretty sure these are your pictures. They're not. I apologize. I had 2 sets. I had Rob's and so if this is your picture, Rob, is yellow, then it's yours. But I'm pretty sure this is Trevor's here.
No, that was our ownership group for American Risk winning Owners of the Year in Truro. That one there.
There we go. I apologize. That was my bad. Yeah. I got that one. Let's see here. And then this picture here.
American Risk also.
Yeah.
Todd joining us there for the picture.
Yep. That's great. And then we have right here.
That's the ownership group of American Risk again there. We're having quite a fun time. The older gentleman in the middle, his name is Jim Chambers. He's been around horses forever. And he owns part of Risk and another horse called Well Did with Paul Angel. And he's had quite a year this year. So he's really enjoying it.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great. And so I got one for you, Trevor. I actually found the right one there. But I'm going to bring up the Gold Cup and Saucer because the right one is actually, I think it's the winner's circle. So I'm going to bring up the Gold Cup and Saucer, the full race, and then we had the winner's circle afterwards. It talks with the, who owns the horses. So I think you guys see before when I bring up a video, there's sounds, so everyone's muted. I don't know, if something happens, you need something, just wave to me or something. But I think we'll be good for about 4 minutes. It's a 4-minute video. So I'll pop it up right now, and we'll see you back here in a few.
The 63rd edition of the greatest race in Canada on a half-mile track for aged pacing horses. It's the Gold Cup and Saucer, number 63, presented by Atlantic Lottery.
A little difficult with that. That is an issue. I don't want to make StreamYard sound bad, but that is a StreamYard issue for some reason. It will just, that's gonna be all choppy the whole way through. I apologize, Trevor, that I couldn't show that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen it, but I will bring up the picture that we have here. Should come up. Here we go.
Yeah.
So that's, everyone's pretty excited in that picture, I'm guessing, right, Trevor?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think, Trevor, you were saying you were buried in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm somewhere behind Sintra.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As you're probably familiar with, the groups for the Gold Cup and Saucer can be quite large, and when you're talking the stable.ca, the group is even larger.
So God bless that horse. I mean, to be so calm in that situation when there's all these people around him, like, my goodness. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me thinking that, but I just think that's absolutely unbelievable. That horse can stay calm and not freak out. That's just,
Yeah, he's a pretty cool customer, that guy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We went and visited him at the farm that morning, and we actually went the day before. We went Friday afternoon, and he never made a peep. But
Really?
Saturday morning, he knew it was race day, and he was letting everybody else know who the king was.
Yeah, so he was a horse that could race any size track too, by the looks of it too. So I probably weren't too concerned about the half mile.
No, I mean he got around London pretty well racing the Camlet Classic, it's called now. But he's done it his whole life. He's raced on different size tracks. He's raced the best of the best. So it was it's been a privilege to be involved with him. He's actually he's coming back here soon after a little bit of refresher over the winter. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll definitely be nice to get some live racing back here in the Maritimes too. I know Truro will be the first track starting up, and a lot of buzz down there, Rob, with Truro Raceway. They got a new general manager, and the fractional ownership thing going quite well, and looks like they're going to have a big year down there.
They're really hoping to. The grandstand should be ready. They're trying to get it for the 1st of May. May 7th is the first race date. They're not sure if they'll have it ready for then, but shortly thereafter. So it's been a couple of years in the process. Nice, beautiful looking spot from the outside anyway. I was down there for February 25th for the awards, and I got to jog a lot of the horses and things. And
did you?
It's coming along there. So
oh, good.
Both my horses trained yesterday in 217, so they're slowly getting there. American Risk and Privilege, both are nice horses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So for Risk this year, you're looking at, of course, starting at Truro and kind of see what happens after that. As far as
we didn't really plan on him to be that type of horse. It just kind of snowballed. Like, he won the first 4 or 5 races in Truro in the overnight class, the top class, and then we got the invite to the Walter Dale, and it just seemed to snowball from there. And he just kept right on track, and he fights every race he's in. He'll fight, and it's hard for a horse to get around him.
Yeah, and he's one of the gamest horses I've seen.
He's game. Todd can bust the gate with him. It was the Conroy last year. He was leaving 6 or something like that there, and he had the bunch like Twin Be Tough Enough and all them. He had them by 3 coming into the first turn.
Oh, I know. He chases the car right out of there. I mean, he can leave like, Now he's a pleasure to watch, and I'm sure you're having a lot of fun with him. And I know Privilege. She's a mare, I do believe, right?
No, he's a gelding.
Oh, is he a gelding? Oh,
he's a gelding. Yeah.
He
did well for us this year. He got 6 wins, so he paid his way also for the most part of the year. There's I think 5 of us in on him.
Yeah.
And we claimed him last year about this time up in Ontario.
Yeah.
And had a lot of fun with him this year too. There's a little, I think she's 10 years old. Leah is her name, Leah Fudd.
Yeah.
And she does a lot of work with him. She's a great little girl. And
Yeah.
on race day, she'll go up and she'll paddock him and everything. In the winner circle, she'll hold his head. He just stands there. So he's a nice horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
So you've made quite a new bunch of friends in this fractional ownership thing too, as well, Rob.
Oh, it's been wonderful. And there's, like I said, there's people from all over the Maritimes.
Yeah.
And, just being around the barn, you see all the other people come in from all the different horses.
Yeah.
So, you get to talk to these here people. There's Fredericton, Charlottetown, Summerside. There's everywhere.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
That's great. So Trevor, for you, so you guys start up at the same time, spring, next couple weeks or so for in Ontario?
Oh, well, they race year round in Ontario, so it's a little bit different. I've had a couple. I had a couple going over the winter, but now we're starting to get the 3-year-olds coming back here in the next few weeks, and the ones that maybe didn't take to winter racing quite as well and get some time off, they're on their way back as well.
Awesome. Anyone's Trev we should keep an eye out for this year, you think?
So I've got a share of Nothing But a Dreamer, who was the 2-year-old trotting colt grassroots champion last year. And it's very, very nice colt. He finished 4th in a William Wellwood elimination, 2nd in the consolation, and he's just, by all accounts, come back fantastic. So we're really excited about him.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Great. Okay, so for you, it was stables.ca for your guys' group, right, Trevor? I'll put that in the description for everybody. So people, you just drop down, you'll see it, click on it, go take a look. Rob, for you, it's basically just get a hold of the people in Truro, what you said. If it was interested, talk to them in Truro.
At the moment right now, I don't think the Renaissance are getting anything else. But, hey, listen, if you're a fan of theirs, you could always say, the next horse you're getting, I'd like to be part of it. They always keep that in the back of their mind, so that way they're, maybe 2 months down the road, things will change. They might have an opening somewhere, but
yeah. And I know for people listening or tuning in from Prince Edward Island, I know there's some opportunities over there too through, as you had mentioned, Mark Campbell. I know has had some fractional ownership groups and some others over there as well. So. It's not as hard as everybody thinks to get involved in, owning a piece of a horse and getting some great thrills along the way.
Just go talk to the trainers.
Say
you got a little bit of money and see what happens.
Yeah, if you want to, I'm pretty sure they won't turn you down. If you want to get a horse, you'll find a trainer that will. I know some of them, and they let you know. But I went to EPR. I remember going to EPR one day to see someone's name. They were great people, but I walked into a barn. And this woman was like, "Want to buy a horse?" I was there for 13 seconds. I'm like, I'm good. I'm just here to see somebody. But it's great. All right. So if you want to add anything on, anybody want to add anything before we finish up? Scott, you want to add anything?
No, I just want to thank the guys for taking time out. We hope to get somebody on in future from PEI as well and talk a little bit about what's going on over there and maybe do that in the future. But again, thanks for coming, guys, and sharing your experiences. And like you say, if anybody wants to get involved in fractional ownership, it's it's not that hard of a thing to do. So anybody can reach out to some trainers, and someone's always looking for an investor or two here.
Wow.
I've talked to people that have asked me to get involved in a couple, and I almost did last summer get involved in one or two, but yeah, it's an easy thing to do, and appreciate you guys taking the time out and sharing your experiences.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on. Congratulations, Trevor, on your big win. I'm jealous.
Yes.
Thanks. And thanks for having me. It probably sounds cliche at this point, but I love to talk about fractional ownership because I really do think it's the future of harness racing.
I agree.
Great. It's really definitely it's a great thing, and I'm glad we can kind of get it out there a bit more for people to hear about it. And before we go, I'll say there's definitely people who love harness racing, but even people if they're watching this because me and Scott will share or you share it or whatever. If you don't if you've never been to harness racing, and I'll say this really quickly, I don't kind of veering off a little bit. I'll make an example of no one's been in harness racing. I took a friend to the Gold Cup and Saucer. She had never been to a harness racing event in her life. That was her first one she ever went to. She, like, the first race, she was kind of like, I don't know. By the fourth race, I'm telling you, this girl was hooked. She was hooked on it. She loved it. She was like reading programs. She knew everything. Like, I mean, and that's the thing. It's a very entertaining sport. And for someone that's watched this that might not watch harness racing, it's a great thing to get involved in. It's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of energy. Especially like Trevor was saying, when your horse wins, it's a feeling you'll never know until it happens. It's a great feeling. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
perfect. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for coming on, and I think we're all good to go. Scott, anything else?
No, that's good. Thanks again, guys, and good luck this summer and spring. And looking forward to, if I don't get to, it's not sure what's going on here in New Brunswick, as of right now, but hopefully they'll get things going in Woodstock and be able to take in some races up there this summer. But if I don't, like to get down, see some racing at Truro and Red Shores.
Yeah,
definitely.
Right on.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.